there, future astronauts. Welcome back to our channel. My name is Whimsy. You might be thinking what I'm doing out here in space. Well, today I will take you out on an interstellar journey to explore the solar system, get a closer look at all our neighboring planets, and get to know them well. So are you ready for a cosmic adventure filled with scientific facts and figures? Let's go. Let's start with the biggest star of our solar system. Yes, you guessed it right. Brightest of all, the Sun. About 4.6 billion years old and composed mainly of hydrogen and helium. Its gravity holds the solar system together, keeping everything, from the biggest planets to the smallest particles of debris, in its orbit. The connection and interactions between the Sun and Earth drive the seasons, ocean currents, weather, climate, radiation belts, and auroras. Though it is special to us, there are billions of stars like our Sun scattered across the Milky Way galaxy. It's so massive that it contains 99.86% of the total mass in our entire solar system. The Sun is about 100 times wider than Earth, and about 10 times wider than Jupiter, the biggest planet.
Now, let's journey to our next stop, the Milky Way and other galaxies. The Milky Way is an enormous barred spiral galaxy, containing billions of stars, including our Sun. It spans about 100,000 light-years in diameter, and we're just one tiny part of this cosmic tapestry. Just as Earth orbits the Sun, the solar system orbits the center of the Milky Way. Our home galaxy's disk is about 100,000 light-years in diameter, and just 1,000 light-years thick, according to Lascomber's observatory. The largest spiral galaxy, known as UGC 1810, has a disk that is tidally distorted into a rose-like shape by the gravitational tidal pull of the companion galaxy below it, known as UGC 1813. A swath of blue jewels across the top is the combined light from clusters of intensely bright and hot young blue stars. Beautiful, isn't it? Now, let's dive into the scientific wonders of each planet, starting with the closest to the Sun, Mercury. Being the smallest planet in our solar system, and having extreme temperature variations, its surface can reach scorching temperatures of 800 degrees Fahrenheit or 427 degrees Celsius during the day, and plunge to minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 179 degrees Celsius at night. From the surface of Mercury, the Sun would appear more than 3 times as large as it does when viewed from Earth, and the sunlight would be as much as 11 times brighter. Despite its proximity to the Sun, Mercury is not the hottest planet in our solar system. That title belongs to nearby Venus, thanks to its dense atmosphere. But Mercury is the fastest planet, zipping around the Sun every 88 Earth days. Mercury is appropriately named for the swiftest of the ancient Roman gods. Now, let's rocket over to our neighboring planet, Venus. Often referred to as Earth's twin, is a cloud-covered planet. However, a closer look reveals a hellish environment. The second planet from the Sun boasts a surface hot enough to melt lead, with an atmosphere so dense that the Sun appears as a mere smear of light from the surface. In many ways, Venus is more of an opposite to Earth than a twin. It spins backward, has a day longer than its year, and lacks any semblance of seasons. Perhaps over 1 billion years ago, it was a habitable ocean world like Earth. However, a runaway greenhouse effect caused all surface water to become vapor, which then slowly dissipated into space. The current surface, dominated by volcanic rock, is subject to extreme temperatures and pressures. When asked if Venus could support life today, the answer is a resounding no. The upper atmosphere, with its high temperatures, air pressure, and chemistry, is much more hospitable, shrouded in thick, yellow clouds, making Venus the hottest planet in our solar system, with surface temperatures reaching around 864 degrees Fahrenheit, or 462 degrees Celsius. Now, let's make our way back to our home, the one and only Earth. Earth is our haven with a diverse climate and abundant life. It orbits the Sun at an average distance of about 93 million miles, or 150 million kilometers, and completes one orbit in 365.25 days. Our home planet Earth is a rocky, terrestrial planet. It has a solid and active surface with mountains, valleys, canyons, plains, and so much more. Earth's atmosphere is the right thickness to keep the planet warm, so living things like us can be there. It's the only planet in our solar system we know of that supports life. It is mostly nitrogen, and it has plenty of oxygen for us to breathe. Earth is special because it is an ocean planet. Water covers 70% of the Earth's surface. Earth has lots of spacecrafts watching it. There is still a lot we can learn about our home planet. Earth is the third planet from the Sun in our solar system. That means Venus and Mars are Earth's neighboring planets. Earth has just one moon. It is the only planet to have just one moon. Speaking of, let's take a celestial leap to our moon. The moon is Earth's natural satellite. And did you know it's about 1/6 the size of Earth? The moon's gravity also causes tides on Earth's oceans. A rocky, cratered place, roughly a quarter the size of Earth and an average of 238,855 miles away. The moon can be seen with the naked eye most nights as it traces its 27-day orbit around our planet. The moon does not shine with its light. It simply reflects light coming from the Sun. From Earth, it might look like the moon is changing shape each night, from a tiny sliver to a half moon to a full moon and back again. What's actually happening is that from our spot on Earth, we see different parts of the moon lit up by the Sun as the moon travels in its orbit. The moon rotates on its own axis at the same rate that it orbits around Earth. That means we always see the same side of the moon from our position on Earth. The side we don't see gets just as much light, so a more accurate name for that part of the moon is the far side. Scientists believe that the moon formed early in the solar system's history after Earth and an object about the size of Mars smashed into each other. The impact sent chunks of Earth and the impactor into space that were pulled together by gravity, creating the moon. We study the moon using telescopes and spacecraft. For example, NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter has been circling the moon and sending back measurements since 2009. There are still many questions left to answer about the moon. And the most exciting days of lunar activity may still lie ahead as NASA sends humans on the next missions to the moon, and eventually onto Mars. Now, let's jet off to the fourth planet, Mars. Mars is a cold desert world. The average temperature on Mars is -85 degrees Fahrenheit, way below freezing. It is half the size of Earth. Mars is sometimes called the red planet, because of rusty iron in the ground. Like Earth, Mars has seasons, polar ice caps, volcanoes, canyons, and weather. It has a very thin atmosphere made mostly of carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and argon. People would not be able to breathe the air on Mars. It has the largest volcano in the solar system, Olympus Mons, towering at about 72,000 feet, 21.9 kilometers, high. There are signs of ancient floods on Mars, but now water mostly exists in icy dirt and thin clouds. On some Martian hillsides, there is evidence of liquid salty water in the ground. Scientists want to know if Mars may have had living things in the past. Mars has been known since ancient times because it can be seen without advanced telescopes. They also want to know if Mars could support life now or in the future. One day on Mars lasts 24.6 hours. It is just a little longer than a day on Earth. 1 year on Mars is 687 Earth days. It is almost twice as long as 1 year on Earth. Mars has 2 moons. Their names are Phobos and Deimos. Mars is the 4th planet from the Sun. That means Earth and Jupiter are Mars' neighboring planets. Now, brace yourself as we approach the gas giant, Jupiter. The biggest planet in our solar system with a diameter of about 86,881 miles or 139,822 kilometers. It has a powerful magnetic field and more than 75 moons. It is more than twice as massive as the other planets of our solar system combined. Jupiter is a gas giant. It is made mostly of hydrogen and helium, causing it to have a very thick atmosphere. Jupiter has rings, but they're very hard to see. 1 day on Jupiter goes by in just 10 hours, and 1 year on Jupiter is the same as 11.8 Earth years. It is the 5th planet from the Sun. That means Mars and Saturn are Jupiter's neighboring planets. Now, let's cruise towards the ringed beauty, Saturn. Saturn's dazzling rings are made up of billions of ice and rock particles. The rings are so extensive that if they were flattened out, they would still only be about 30 feet, 9 meters, thick. Saturn isn't the only planet to have rings, but it has the most beautiful ones. The rings we see are made of groups of tiny ringlets that surround Saturn. They are made of chunks of ice and rock. Like Jupiter, Saturn is mostly a ball of hydrogen and helium. Saturn has a lovely set of 7 main rings with spaces between them. 1 day on Saturn goes by in just 10.7 hours. 1 year on Saturn is the same as 29 Earth years. As of June 8, 2023, Saturn has 146 moons. Saturn is the 6th planet from the Sun. That means Jupiter and Uranus are Saturn's neighboring planets. Now, let's glide over to the ice giant, Uranus. Discovered in 1781 by William Herschel in Great Britain, Uranus is made of water, methane, and ammonia fluids above a small rocky center. Its atmosphere is made of hydrogen and helium like Jupiter and Saturn, but it also has methane. The methane makes Uranus blue. Uranus is also surrounded by a set of 13 faint rings. The inner rings are narrow and dark. The outer rings are brightly colored and easier to see. Like Venus, Uranus rotates in the opposite direction as most other planets. And unlike any other planet, Uranus rotates on its side. 1 day on Uranus lasts about 17 hours and 14 minutes, to be exact. 1 year on Uranus is the same as 84 years on Earth. That's a long time to wait for a birthday cake. Uranus has 27 known moons and is the 7th planet from the Sun. That means Saturn and Neptune are Uranus' neighboring planets. And finally, let's journey to the chilly, distant Neptune. Discovered in 1846 by Urbain Le Verrier, John Couch Adams, and Johann Galit, Neptune is dark, cold, and very windy. It's the last of the planets in our solar system. It's more than 30 times as far from the Sun as Earth is. Neptune is very similar to Uranus. It's made of a thick fog of water, ammonia, and methane over an Earth-sized solid center. Its atmosphere is made of hydrogen, helium, and methane. The methane gives Neptune the same blue color as Uranus. Neptune has 6 rings, but they're very hard to see. One day on Neptune goes by in 16 hours. It has such a long journey around the Sun it takes 165 Earth years to go around once. That's a long year. Neptune has 14 moons and is the 8th and most distant planet from the Sun. That means Uranus is Neptune's only neighboring planet. And there you have it, folks. A scientific tour through our solar system, and a glimpse into the vastness of the Milky Way and other galaxies.
If you enjoyed this cosmic exploration, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more space adventures. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars, little astronauts. Safe travels.